Welcome back to the channel. It's Part-Time Gamer Dad, and today I'm going to give you my review of Survivor Series Wargames 2024. Survivor Series Wargames just got over a couple minutes ago, so I'm going to give you my quick review and rating of the matches and also tell you what I think might happen from here. But as always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and make sure you let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Survivor Series Wargames 2024. The show kicked off with the Women's Wargames match, which I think everybody predicted, with Team Rhea Ripley defeating Team Liv Morgan. This match was a match of two halves. The first half of this match was pretty rough to watch. Yeah, there was a lot of botches, a lot of mistimed cues, a lot of lack of cohesion and chemistry. But once Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky came in, kind of about 2/3 through the match, that's when it really started to pick up. And then, of course, when Rhea and then Liv Morgan came in, that was a really great pick up to the pace. That's when everything started kind of clicking, which is interesting because it was almost like the more people you added to the match, the better it gelled all throughout, which it was a little bit different than the men's match, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But there were some really great spots. The stereo senton from Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky, who is assisted with a trash can in very Io fashion, as she did over the moonsault onto some groups of competitors below. It was a great moment. And of course, there was a great storytelling all throughout. I mean, really, this match was a story of Rhea versus Liv, but you had some great storytelling moments, such as Tiffany Stratton digging through a trash can and finding the Money in the Bank briefcase, which she then considered: do I cash in on Liv? Do I cash in on Nia? Raquel Rodriguez steps in to stop her, and then when Rhea Ripley's in the ring, they try to handcuff her, but then later down the road in the match, Rhea is able to actually handcuff Raquel Rodriguez to the ropes, which is a great moment because then it allowed Rhea to hit this top rope riptide through a table and pin Liv Morgan for the win. I give this match 4.5 stars. Once Io and Tiffany Stratton came into the match, and we had that buildup of the fourth and fifth competitors from each team come in, and then the actual War Games match proper, everything flowed really well, and there was a lot of exciting spots, really great storytelling. But that first half of the match really struggled, right, from Bayley and Nia, from the very beginning with those two, and then as you added in other competitors like Naomi, like Candice LeRae. So overall, the match was really solid. I just wish it had been better in the beginning. Next up, the one prediction I got wrong, but I'm so glad I got it wrong. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated LA Knight to win the US title. This match was a really good match, and it was, the shortest match on the card, but it told a very simple story. Shinsuke has come back, and he is staying vindictive. He is staying aggressive in this new character, and they're not just wasting the build-up. I've seen, I'm sure everybody has been kind of annoyed with this consistent build-up of Shinsuke Nakamura, only for him to always lose right at the finish line. He's about to win a championship, a world title, and they make him out to be this big deal, and they could have the other guy, i.e. Seth Rollins, be at his absolute worst, and even at his absolute worst, he's not able to be beaten by an incredibly on top of his game Shinsuke Nakamura. So I really love this character change. I really love what it's led to. It really was a match of Shinsuke Nakamura's aggressiveness and outsmarting LA Knight, which you'll see all throughout the night in terms of outsmarting the opponents. It's a really no pun intended, smart way, making sure they have the best opportunity to succeed from these heels. So in this matchup, when he hits that reverse DDT in between the rings and then hits a Kinshasa, it was all, to me, in a way, it was almost sort of premeditated. Like, he knew what he had to do to get there, and he was 2 steps ahead of LA Knight at all times. So really solid match. It was pretty short, which I think is what kind of hampered it. But the storytelling was solid, and honestly, giving it a 1/2 star for Nakamura winning the championship, I give this 3.25 stars for Nakamura finally winning a big one on a PLE. Next up, we had Braun Breaker successfully defending his Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. This match, I really feel like, was a million miles a minute. It was an incredibly hard-hitting, very physical match. This match really, to me, established Ludwig Kaiser as a singles guy. Like, he will be a intercontinental title contender, maybe for life. Like, he's that good. He's a solid, dependable hand. We've always known that. But this match is showing how he can hang in there with established single stars like a Sheamus, like a Braun Breaker, both former and future world champions, respectively. I think that it was a great showing from him. Obviously, Braun Breaker is way over the crowd. Like, this tweener leaning towards heel, but really a tweener type role for him is great. And you have Sheamus as the babyface. Everybody wants to win the IC title until halfway through the match. They don't. They're cheering for Braun just because he's a freak in nature, and all the things he does are really incredibly fun to watch. And then, at the end, towards the end, when Sheamus moves out of the way and Braun Breaker spears head first into a chair, and then Sheamus hits him with the bro kick, and we think this is it. That was a great false finish with Ludwig Kaiser pulling the ref out, attacking Sheamus with the shillelagh. Like, it was all just well constructed. And it was given a lot of time to breathe. And then obviously, of course, you had that finish where Braun just spears the heck out of Ludwig Kaiser to take him out of the match. And then you have the good finish, but here's the problem. Braun spears Sheamus in slow motion, and I'm not sure. I think it was more Sheamus's fault because of how he took the move. But if you look at the way that Braun was setting it up, he was very intense, and he ran full speed at him. But when he got to him, it's like he slowed down just at the last second, and Sheamus in slow motion took the spear. So the finish was a little weak, and honestly, I think it's what hinders the match from getting a higher grade than I'm going to give it. But man, like this one, I honestly, I've got to give it probably 4.25. Like, this match was so good, and it really felt cohesive all the way throughout. I just think that finish fell a little flat just based on, and also it took Sheamus forever to get up. That spear to Ludwig singling him out. It took like a good 20 seconds for Sheamus to get up and get the spear from Braun. I would have loved to see like a spear to Ludwig. Sheamus is struggling, but gets up, rather quickly, maybe 5-6 seconds. Braun hits him with another spear, and then it connects really well. Sheamus takes a well, goes down, and loses. You know what? I thought Ludwig was going to be the one to take the pin, but I'm kind of glad he didn't, because I think it still establishes him in the structure of the mid-card picture pretty solidly. And then also, Sheamus at any time could always get another IC title match, which I think maybe we will see that again here down the road. I'd love to see him maybe win it at the Rumble. And then you have Braun Breaker going to do something else. Maybe take on John Cena. If you watch my prediction video, I'm just booking John Cena and everything for WrestleMania. But that match overall, man, it really stuck out. I think in just terms of pure wrestling and just a big Haas fight thrown in with a technical specialist like Ludwig Kaiser, who just got his hands real dirty and started throwing hands and kicks. It was a great match, 4.25. Next up, we saw Gunther successfully defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. Now, obviously, this was a rematch from their World Championship match at SummerSlam, where Gunther first won the title after Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest. This match, is it at the same level? I think relatively it is. I think the storytelling element is better. I gave the SummerSlam match, I think, like 4 stars. This match, I think, was better. I don't know if I love the lack of confidence in Gunther. I appreciate the story that they're telling. Lack of confidence in Gunther, the uptick in confidence from Damian Priest, and that almost being overconfident causes him to get some injuries throughout the match with both of his shoulders, and can't really hit South of Heaven on Gunther just due to that. And then, of course, the finish. The finish kind of brought it down. I thought it worked really well for SummerSlam. I don't think it worked as well here, only because we're so far removed from it, and it just feels like a copy and paste situation where I'm not really sure what the end game is here. Like, what is the end game for Finn Balor hitting the coup de grace on Damian Priest? And then are we just going to have another match where Damian Priest wins like he did last time against Finn Balor? I love the idea of Balor versus Priest, but they moved too slowly on it originally, in my opinion. And I also think that as we look forward to where this next match could happen, I don't think it happens this year, right? It could happen at Saturday night's main event. Like, to be fair, that could happen. But it feels like a big PLE match, so maybe it happens at Rumble. I think waiting until WrestleMania is way too long. And then what does that do for these two guys? They're going to have to build up quick feuds for that show. So uh, in this match, I almost want to give it 4 1/4, but I feel like the finish lends it to losing a little credibility. What I can't deny is the storytelling through the match was really, really good. And man, if the crowd wasn't into it, like the crowd was great all night, but they were really into, for just a straight up wrestling match, they were really into this match. So out of respect to what they told in the ring, taking into account the crowd was way into this match, and Damian Priest was way over. And Finn Balor coming in and feeling like the same old thing. I still give it 4 1/4. I think that you can't discount the chemistry these two guys have in the ring. Gunther and Damian Priest, they could be the poster boys of Fight Forever. They just, again, too big, as Biggie likes to say, too big, meaty men slapping meat. Like, they are just fighting and throwing hands and are pretty, they will destroy each other. Like, they have no regard for each other. Obviously as characters, and the feud, the build up to this feud, as we've seen the build up to this match, it's been great. I think that I would have liked to just see a different ending, or I'd like to see Gunther just win straight up. I did love Gunther coming in and knocking out Finn Balor after Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Damian Priest, because Gunther didn't want to win that way. And then afterwards, he celebrated like he had just won the World Series. So, it's kind of those inconsistencies that frustrate me a little bit, but once again, Damian Priest, Gunther, two of the best wrestlers in the business right now, at least in WWE, and had another banger here at Survivor Series Wargames. And the main event, the OG Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk defeated the new Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed. This match, wow, I think this is my favorite Wargames match of all time, and I'm talking like WCW, NWA, NXT, and WWE main roster. This match, on so many levels, with some of the callbacks and obviously the tension between Punk and Roman, and even just the way the entrances were portrayed. The new Bloodline comes out first. They're all together, one team, unified in a singular entrance. And then everybody in OG Bloodline to CM Punk come out as individuals, which was really interesting. And you could read into that like as a positive or a negative. Jey Uso getting the last entrance was great, coming through the crowd, like always, celebrating with the fans. And this is where I think the men's War Games match really shines in comparison to the women's War Games match. It felt shorter, but it was longer. And that's because the beginning of the match, the first half to 2/3, was really cohesive, really clipped along well. The story was told well. And some of that was in the moments and the way they presented how the teams were getting on, right? So Solo Sikoa stopped Tonga Loa from going out to have Jacob Fatu go out. And then when the next entrant came in from Team OG Bloodline, CM Punk wanted to go out, and Roman stopped him, and then he had Sammy go in instead. So just stuff like that, little moments, just kind of helps the story, the cohesion, the pace feel a little bit better. And then, of course, there's that moment where Solo Sikoa, he locks the cage before Roman can get in, and Roman has to climb over, and he attacks the new Bloodline, jumps off the top rope on top of all these guys, which was a great moment, something you didn't see him do as the tribal chief, but as the OTC, he's having a little more fun. He's doing things that are a little more high risk, which was great. And then, of course, we have that nice face-off between New Bloodline, OG Bloodline. I love the two-team face-off. Roman's helping all of the OG Bloodline members up, but not Punk. And then, as the match is breaking down, we see Bronson Reed go to the top of the cage. Roman is on a table beneath Bronson Reed, who's going to take him out with a tsunami. And at the last second, as Bronson Reed's coming out, CM Punk saves Roman Reigns. They look at each other. Roman's looking down at Punk, goes to extend his hand. As Punk is being pulled up, he gets jumped by New Bloodline, both Roman and Punk. And the match continues, but then you have a great sequence of Usos and Sami Zayn working together, like kind of getting that OG Bloodline magic, where they actually end up taking out Jacob Fatu with a Uso splash from Jimmy Uso from the top of the cage through a table, which in just my logical brain, I'm thinking to myself, what do you want to pin Jacob Fatu after that move? But they actually make a decision, and if you watch the rest of the match, you see they could have, but they made the decision to go and team back up, like create a unified front, very similar to what New Bloodline did at the beginning of the match. At the end of the match, the Sami Zayn and the Usos are showing we're a unified front with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And a quick note on Jacob Fatu, he might have been injured within the match. One thing I'll say about Jacob Fatu, I love the guy. He showed out. CM Punk came in, brought in this toolbox. He's knocking everybody out with it. He does a running bulldog to Jacob Fatu on the toolbox. Jacob Fatu gets up, and he's not phased in a very Jacob Fatu fashion. He was great. His character, his presence, his in-ring work was great. He's moving really fast all the time. And I think because of that, he was going to do, basically like a springboard whisper in the wind, corkscrew senton. And he just slipped up and he hurt himself, it seems, pretty legitimately. He was, kind of favoring one leg. And so I hope Jacob Fatu is okay. He seemed like he was better later in the match. But I think my issue is that he just continues to get hurt, and he could be a big player. I mean, I'm talking like him, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, some of these younger guys who are just really in the prime of being like up and comers who are making an impact right now. I think that Jacob Fatu is one of those guys, but if he keeps getting hurt, he's going to kill his own momentum. So I'd like to see him slow down. But back to the actual match itself. Then after that happens and Sami and the Usos come into the second ring with Roman and with Punk, they all surround Solo. Great finishing sequence of one super kick from Jay, super kick from Jimmy, double super kicks into a haluva kick from Sami Zayn, who then throws him into a GTS from CM Punk, and then Solo still standing there, bounces off the ropes. Roman hits a spear and wins. This match, guys, like, I don't go above 5 stars. I thought about it for this match. I thought about going above 5 stars. I'm always going to probably stick at 5. 5 is like my ceiling. But no, if there was a ceiling above this, that this would probably get that kind of rating. So I'm going to give it 5 stars. This match, to me, didn't just deliver in terms of storytelling and kind of helping construct the ideas of, Roman's story, but set a lot of really good, like, planted a lot of seeds for where we go from here. Bronson Reed is a star. He's a star after tonight. That might have been the spot of the night. Jimmy, Bronson Reed, Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky all had the spots of the night. Like, those were the 4 MVPs outside of maybe CM Punk and Roman Reigns. But then you also have like some seeds planted with CM Punk. He left before OG Bloodline got up to the ramp, and they all turn around and they put up the ones, and the CM Punk comes in between, and does his little pose, which they seem to linger on for a long time, like this like closing section of the show, which is fine. They're all hugging, all OG Bloodline and CM Punk hugging Paul Heyman, which was a great moment. I love that Paul Heyman didn't turn, actually. I know a lot of people felt like he should, or Brock Lesnar would come out of the Rock, and I'm really glad it kind of ended the way it did, but they lingered so long, you almost expected one of those guys to come out, or there'd be some kind of betrayal. That all being said, I like how it ended. I think we're on the path now to Solo versus Roman for the Ulu Fala. That's probably going to happen at Saturday night's main event or the Royal Rumble. And then Roman will obviously have some kind of marquee match, whether that's against The Rock, Cody Rhodes, or a triple threat for the title. If Cody even has the title, he's got that matchup coming up with Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. And then obviously the whole element of CM Punk's favor that he's going to get from Paul Heyman, which I think will be a World Heavyweight Championship match against Gunther on the first Raw of Netflix, which if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time in the last couple of weeks, you know that I think that CM Punk is going to beat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at the first episode of Raw on Netflix. So I think that's the favor he's going to ask for. Get me a title shot, first Raw on Netflix. I want it to be a memorable night, and I want to win the world title. So I think that's where we're heading, and this match did a great job of helping us get there. It's a 5-star match, and probably, I'm just going to say it's my favorite War Games match of all time. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you're still watching, like always, please like the video. Let me know down below what you thought about Survivor Series War Games 2024. I'll see you very soon.